Once upon a time, there was an old woman living in a small village. She was very old, with silver white hair and a face full of soft wrinkles. But her eyes were bright and filled with kindness. Everyone in the village loved her because she was always happy, no matter how difficult life was. She lived alone in a small house beside a big banyan tree. She had no children, and her husband had passed away many years ago. Yet she never complained. She would sit under the tree, talk to people, and always smile. The people in the village worked hard. Some were farmers, some were carpenters, and some worked in a small market. There was hardly any rain, and the crops would dry up. Sometimes people would fall sick and couldn't go to work. Life wasn't easy, and many villagers were often sad or worried. One day, a young woman named Radha came to her. Radha was crying, her face filled with worry. She said, "I don't know what to do. My husband went to the city to find work, but he hasn't sent any money yet. My children are hungry, and I am scared." The old woman looked at Radha and smiled gently. "Sit down, my child," she said. "Tell me, what do you think will happen?" Radha wiped her tears and said, "I don't know. I feel like something bad will happen. What if my husband doesn't find work? What if he forgets us?" The old woman slowly shook her head. "Radha, when we think bad thoughts, we feel worse. But if we think good thoughts, we feel better. And sometimes good things happen." Radha asked, "But how can I think good thoughts when everything seems so bad?" She smiled again and said, "Let me tell you a story." Radha looked at her curiously. The old woman began. Once, there was a poor man who had nothing. He had no food, no money, no family. He sat by the riverbank crying. An old woman came to him and asked, "Why are you crying?" The man said, "I have nothing. How can I be happy?" The old woman smiled and said, "You have the river, you have the trees, you have the sun. Look around you. Everywhere there is beauty and life. If you think about what you don't have, you will always be sad. But if you think about what you do have, you will find peace." The man listened carefully, and slowly he stopped crying. He began to see the good things around him, and from that day, his life began to change. The old woman looked at Radha and said, "You see, my dear, this man's life didn't change magically. It changed because he changed his way of thinking. When we think positively, our hearts feel lighter, and we can face challenges better." Radha thought about the story and said, "Can my thoughts really change my life?" She smiled gently and said, "Yes. If you wake up every morning and tell yourself, 'Today will be a good day,' you will find the strength to work, take care of your children, and wait for your husband with hope. But if you only think about what might go wrong, you will feel sad and weak." Radha nodded slowly. "I understand now. I will try to think good thoughts from now on. That's the first step, my child," she said. Radha left the old woman's house with a lighter heart. Every day she remembered the old woman's words. She would wake up and tell herself, "Today will be a good day." She worked hard, took care of her children, and prayed for her husband's return. A few weeks later, Radha received a letter from her husband. He had found a job in the city and was sending money home. Radha was overjoyed. She rushed to tell the old woman the good news. The old woman smiled and nodded. You see, my dear, when we think positively, we invite good things into our lives. Problems will always come, but if we face them with a hopeful heart, we can overcome them. Soon, other villagers started hearing about the old woman's wise words. Many came to her with their problems. The old woman gave the same advice. Think good thoughts, and good things will happen. The villagers loved her even more. She had taught them the power of positive thinking.